Good afternoon, conference. And what a great day it's been. And again, down to Steve Cllr, our party chairman, delivering another brilliant conference for us. Now, I've got a lot to get through in this short section I've got in local government, a lot to cover. But the most important thing and the biggest thing I want to achieve is to thank every single one of you in this room. Those of you who have been in the party for 20 years, those of you who have been in the party for 10 years, and some of you who are only just joining the party today. And we'll come on to that in a moment's time. We've achieved a lot. Last year in the local government elections, you delivered not just the 800 second places that I'd promised Nigel and Steve Cllr we would deliver to put us on the map in local government. You then went and delivered another 150 county councillors. That's a huge success. Now that is a landslide in local politics. And that is an earthquake. Organisations such as the Local Government Association now take UKIP very, very seriously because of what you've done. Now, one of our council leaders is here today, Paul Bullen, and I'll introduce him up. One of the many things we've done in local government in the very short time since May is to completely change the system of governance on some of the bigger councils. So in Norfolk and Cambridgeshire, council leaders like Paul Bullen have taken us away from the type of system that puts individuals in charge of councils and removes responsibility from ordinary backbenchers and ordinary communities. So I'll introduce you to Paul Bullen, Group Leader of UKIP in Cambridgeshire County Council.
Good afternoon, conference. And what a pleasure and a privilege it is for the first time to address you. And I hope it won't be the last. But it's also an honour to address you as the UKIP Group Leader of Cambridgeshire County Council. And for those of you who don't know, Cambridgeshire is the biggest growing county currently in our country. But what we're doing, your UKIP councillors that you helped to be put into the place on that council, we're bringing democracy back to local government. We're getting rid of a system that is a dictatorship, where one person, and one person alone, the leader of the council, makes every single decision. On Cambridgeshire County Council, we have 12 councillors. We have no whip. Every one of those councillors votes, when required, in the way that they think is best for the electorate that elected them. I don't tell them how to vote, and I will never be a member of a party that does. We have, and we are, putting democracy back into local government. And with your assistance in May, we can put even more councillors into local government and give you, the electorate, a say on how your councils are run and how your council tax is spent. Thank you.
And it is worth dwelling just for a moment on how much we are achieving. It's not just the big picture things such as Paul and Toby in Norfolk and their teams have led the way with, bringing in other parties to make big, big governance changes in the whole structure of local government in the counties they represent. Counties with billion pound budgets, so serious politics. It's also much, much wider, and a lot of it is the terror that you people are putting in the hearts of Conservative, Labour and Liberal Democrat group leaders. Just to name one, in Huntingdonshire, where I sit, and I know there's many, many examples, UKIP councillors voting for lower taxes and approaching elections in May has forced many councils to U-turn. In Huntingdonshire, they've gone from the maximum tax rise that they were looking at adopting in December down to a tax freeze, purely because of the threat that UKIP is posing to these organisations and the Conservative groups there. So thank you. Next week, your branches will be receiving an email, 2 emails. One will be highlighting to you the new local manifesto that we hope you'll be delivering door to door right across the country. So there's a lot more information for you to pick up next week on that. As well as that, we'll be supporting at the moment, 2,500 local government candidates, but hopefully within a few weeks' time, as we approach the election, we'll be up to a full list of 4,200 local government councillors. We intend to support them with election addresses, which gives them options and really creates a professional, unified approach to how we're fighting this election. And I think you'll agree, with Neil Hamilton leading us and Lisa Duffy supporting him, we are one of the most professional political forces in this country now. Now, it's not just the European elections and the local government elections that we're fighting. There's some very important elections that are also on the table, and I'd just like to introduce you to one of the candidates in that. As well as the regular local government elections this year, we're going to fight 5 mayoral elections. These are really important elections for us, and one of those candidates in Watford I'd like to introduce you to is Phil Cox. Welcome, Phil.
Good afternoon. When I was younger, I heard an expression that said, doesn't matter who you vote for, the government always gets in. It's more true now because it doesn't matter who you vote for, the EU always gets in. But we're going to put a stop to that because if you vote UKIP, the EU will no longer get in. And I'd like to say that's as true at local level as it is at national level. At local level, we are hamstrung by rules and laws from the EU that dictate how we do things. And I don't think that's right. Locally in Watford, we have a couple of issues that we are fighting on for the mayoral election. One of them is there's a housing scheme that's called the Health Campus. It's behind the hospital, and the idea was part of the money from this huge housing scheme would build a new hospital for Watford, or at least pay some of the way towards it. It started off at 350 houses, it's now up to 700. It's swallowed up a protected allotment site that's gone to the, well, I think it's going to the High Court to try and protect it. But the Conservatives don't care, the Liberal Democrats who are in power, they don't care. And it was, first of all, it was 350 houses, then it was 500, then we needed the allotments to make all the figures add up. To be honest, there's not even going to be a hospital. The Health Campus is a housing scheme. We've only just found this out in Watford. And that's the reason why I am standing up for mayor in Watford. It's not the sort of thing I would normally do, but I've looked at what's happening at the moment and I felt I could do better. So as one of our main promises, when I stand for mayor in Watford, and we've already publicised this and it's gone down well, we are going to have one of the most open and transparent offices in the country as far as our council goes. And if I can make 2 changes when I'm in local council, it will be that we will have a completely open and transparent system in the council. No secrets, if we make a mistake, I want everyone to know about it. That way we won't make another one. And the other one is, I want the council to remember that you pay their wages. I pay their wages. And if I'm elected as mayor, you'll pay my wages. And if I don't do a good job, then you should get rid of me. And if the council doesn't do a good job, you should get rid of them. So let's stand up and let's vote UKIP in the local elections. Thank you.
And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned when I opened this section that it's not just those of you who have been in the party for a decade or 2 decades that are here today. I'd like to introduce to you UKIP's newest member. From the London Borough of Bromley, former Conservative councillor until today, of 33 years having served the Conservative Party, I'd like to introduce on stage new UKIP councillor in Bromley, Councillor Julian Granger.
Well, good afternoon, conference. I'm delighted to join UKIP and support its common sense policies. UKIP believes in true localism, not just bringing back decisions from Brussels, but encouraging decisions to be made more locally too. I've campaigned myself for a return to the committee system and re-engage the some 20,000 councillors who are disenfranchised by the current leader and cabinet system. UKIP common sense localism is a breath of fresh air. Now, if you ask why after 33 years have I left the Conservative Party, well, there's more than one answer, but disconnect between local members and leadership is a big factor. But a key milestone was last year's speech by David Cameron at Bloomberg, where he finished by saying that he would campaign heart and soul for a yes vote in a keep it, stay in vote in a referendum. What an astonishing way to negotiate the future of our country. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all the work you're doing for our country, our party, and your home communities. Thank you.